There once was a warrior who swore revenge, and he fought alone against 1,000 men. No, wait. Let me tell you this story properly. Once upon a time, in a world full of magic and adventure, there lived a great warrior. His name was Gawain, and he was known throughout the land for his bravery and skill in battle. But despite his many victories, there was one battle that haunted his dreams, the Battle of Castle Black. It had been 5 years since that fateful day when Gawain and his army had defended Castle Black against a horde of orcs. He remembered the screams of the dying, the clash of steel on steel, and the fear that had gripped him as he realized they were outnumbered 10-1. Despite their valiant efforts, half of the kingdom's knights had fallen that day, including his best friend Sir Lionel. And now here he was again, standing on the ramparts of Castle Black, watching a new horde of orcs approach. The memory of the fallen still burned brightly in his heart. But this time, instead of charging into battle with his fellow knights, he stood apart from them, his face grim, his eyes blazing with determination. As the orcs drew closer, the castle's defenders prepared for battle. Archers took their positions, swords were drawn, and shields were raised. When the orcs were within range, the archers let loose a volley of arrows that sent many of the creatures crashing to the ground, but more kept coming. They seemed endless. Gawain watched as the battle raged around him, but he did not join in. Instead, he waited patiently for his moment. Suddenly, he saw an opening. The Orcish horde was pushing forward, and he knew it was now or never. With a roar, he charged down the ramparts and into the thick of the battle. His sword flashed like lightning, and he moved with the speed and grace of a dancer. Orcs fell all around him, but he seemed tireless. Their weapons bounced harmlessly off his shield, and even their sharpest arrows could not penetrate his armor. He fought with the strength of 10 men, and soon a small clearing was made around him. But the respite was short-lived. More orcs came pouring over the top of the hill, and soon Gawain was surrounded once again. But he did not falter. He continued to fight with the same ferocity, and the orcs began to fall back. Seeing this, the other defenders of Castle Black rallied and pushed forward. The tide of battle turned, and soon the orcs were in full retreat. Gawain watched them go, his breathing heavy, his armor dented and scratched. He had won the battle, but the victory felt hollow. He looked down at the bodies of his fallen comrades and friends, and felt a deep sadness. For what had it all been worth? He had defended the castle, but at what cost? As he stood there lost in thought, he heard a voice behind him. "Well done, Sir Gawain," said the voice. Gawain turned and saw the castle's Lord Commander, Sir Balin, approaching him. "You fought like a lion today. You have saved us all." Gawain nodded, but he could not meet Sir Baldwin's gaze. He was ashamed. He had fought bravely, yes, but what had all been for? As he looked out over the field of battle, he saw the bodies of his fallen comrades and friends, and felt a deep sadness. For what had all been worth? As he stood there lost in thought, he heard a voice behind him. "Well done, Sir Gawain," said the voice. Gawain turned and saw the castle's Lord Commander, Sir Balin, approaching him. "You fought like a lion today. You have saved us all." Gawain nodded, but he could not meet Sir Baldwin's gaze. He was ashamed. He had fought bravely, yes, but what had it all been worth? For what? So that he could defend Castle Black again and again and again. He didn't want to do that anymore. He wanted something more, something better. Sir Balin laid a hand on Gawain's shoulder. "What is it, man?" he asked. "You seem troubled." Gawain hesitated, then finally met Sir Balin's gaze. "I am tired of fighting," he said. "We defend this castle, only to have the orcs come back again and again." What is the point? Sir Balin understood. He had seen the same weariness in the eyes of his own men. "I know what you mean," he said, "but we must keep fighting. It is our duty as soldiers to defend the realm." But what good is defending the realm if those we defend don't appreciate it? Gawain asked. They cheer when we win battles, but they forget just as quickly. When the next battle comes, they send us out to die again and again and again. That may be true, Sir Balin said, but we cannot give up. We have a duty to protect the innocent. But what is the point? Gawain asked. Look around you, Sir Balin. All this fighting has taken its toll on us. Our men are tired, and I am no longer the knight I once was. Sir Balin sighed. He knew Gawain was right. The endless battles had taken a toll on all of them. But what were they supposed to do? Give up? Never. That was not an option. Then we will find another way, Sir Balin said. We will find a way to end this conflict once and for all. But as the days passed, no solution presented itself, and the orcs continued to attack, forcing Gawain and his men to fight again and again. Gawain grew more and more weary. He missed the old days when he had first become a knight, when each battle was a challenge, when each victory was a cause for celebration. Now everything had changed. He was tired of the endless fighting. He was tired of the Orcish hordes. Most of all, he was tired of feeling like there was no hope for a better future. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the castle, Gawain sat alone in his room, his head in his hands. He had just received word that yet another battle had been scheduled for the next day. He looked up and saw his armor hanging on the wall. It was dented and scratched from years of fighting. Suddenly he had enough. He was tired of being a soldier. He was tired of following orders without question. He was tired of living a life that was not his own. He ripped his armor off the wall and threw it to the ground. I am done, he shouted. I will not fight for this kingdom any more. He picked up his sword and held it aloft. I swear revenge on the king, he cried. He has sent me out to die again and again and again, but no more. From this day forward, I am a soldier of fortune. I will fight for myself. And with that, he left the castle, leaving behind the life that had once been his. Gawain traveled far and wide, fighting in many battles, but always on his own terms. He was no longer a pawn in the game of power and politics. He was free. Yet as the years passed, he grew older and weaker, and the memory of his past life did not fade. In fact, it only grew stronger. He missed his friends and his family. He missed the camaraderie of his fellow knights. Most of all, he missed the sense of purpose that had driven him in his youth. One night, as Gawain sat alone in a tavern, a group of young knights approached him. They were boisterous and loud, and they told tales of their own battles and conquests. Gawain listened, a sad smile on his face. He had been young once too, and full of dreams and aspirations. But now he was old and weary, and his dreams had turned to dust. The young knights raised their tankards in a toast. To adventure, they cried. May our battles be epic and our victories glorious. Gavin watched them, his heart heavy. He had once been like them, full of hope and optimism. But the world had beaten that out of him. He had sworn revenge and fought alone against 1,000 men, and in the end he had won. But the victory had cost him dearly. He had lost his friends, his family, his purpose. And what had he gained? Nothing but scars and regrets. As the night wore on, Gawain grew more and more drunk, and the pain in his heart turned to anger. He stood up on his chair and shouted, "Stop your foolish talk of adventure and glory. You are fools. I have fought in many battles, and I tell you, there is no glory in war, only death and destruction. Do not waste your lives on empty pursuits." The young knights were stunned by Gawain's outburst. They had never seen such anger in a man before. "Who are you to tell us what to do?" one of them challenged. "You are just a washed-up old knight with nothing left to lose." "That may be true," Gawain replied, "but I would rather be a dead knight than a living coward. Do not mistake my weariness for cowardice. I am tired of fighting, not afraid of it." And with that, he left the tavern, leaving the young knights to their foolish games. As he walked the streets, he came across a group of children playing. They were laughing and shouting, and it brought a smile to his face. For a moment, he forgot his pain and his anger. He remembered a time when he had been young and full of joy. Then suddenly, a dog ran across the street, and the children scattered. Gawain watched them run, and he realized that they were not so different from himself. They were all running away from something that scared them. But what did fear get them? Only more fear. Gavin had spent his entire life fighting, and what had it gotten him? Only more battles. He had never found peace, never found happiness. All he had found was sorrow and regret. The realization hit him like a ton of bricks. He had been running away from his problems for years, but that was not the answer. He needed to face his problems, to deal with them, to find a way to make things right. Gawain stopped walking and turned around. He knew what he had to do. He had to return to Castle Black and put an end to this madness once and for all. He was tired of being a soldier, tired of following orders, tired of living a life that was not his own. He was ready to take control of his own destiny. He would no longer be a pawn in the game of power and politics. He would be Gawain, the warrior who chose his own path. And with that, he started his journey back to Castle Black, where his adventure would come full circle. He had fought alone against 1,000 men and won, but the real battle was within himself. He had to find a way to forgive himself, to forgive others, and most importantly, to find a way to bring peace to the land. Only then could he truly be free. The warrior who swore revenge and fought alone against 1,000 men is a story about facing one's fears and finding a way to overcome them. It is also a story about the importance of forgiveness and the need for peace in our lives. Just like Gawain, we all have to face our fears at some point in our lives. Sometimes those fears can seem insurmountable, just like the odds that Gawain faced when he fought alone against 1,000 men. But if we face our fears and fight through them, we can come out stronger on the other side. Similarly, forgiveness is an important theme in the story. Gawain had held on to his anger and resentment for many years, but he eventually learns to let go of that anger and forgive himself and others. This is a powerful lesson for us all, because forgiveness is the key to inner peace. Finally, the story also talks about the need for peace in our lives. Gawain had been a soldier for many years, and he had seen the destruction and death that war brings. But he eventually realizes that there is no glory in war, and that it is only through peace that we can truly find happiness.